Yade! This is Matt from Access Navajo. I'm happy to be here today to introduce you to the game that goes with Book 5 in our Fun with Navajo Verbs series, Dził Ná'oodiłii. The game is available free of charge by downloading from our website, www.accessnavajo.com. To run it on your computer, you will need to install a Java runtime environment, which is also available free of charge from the java.com website. If you're uncomfortable installing Java, it's really very simple, but just get a friend of yours or one of these computer whizzes who are so numerous these days to help you, and it can be done in just a few minutes. One of the themes in Book 5 is verbs that have the seriative prefix, which normally shows up as an H, but can change into a Y or an II, or in some cases even disappear altogether. This prefix indicates typically some form of a motion that is repeated time after time. Sometimes it's an object to which an action is done again and again. And there are numerous verbs employing the seriative in Book 5. So this game has been designed to highlight how those verbs work and what they look like. There are 3 modes in this game. So if we look up in the upper left of the game here, you'll see there's a button that's labeled Identify Seriative H. And by seriative H, we mean the seriative in all of its forms. Okay, so if we click on that, we get a second mode, which is jump to, and then a third mode, which deals with harmonization. A lot of seriative H forms will harmonize under certain conditions. So I'm going to go back to the beginning here. To play mode 1, which asks you to identify verbs that have the seriative prefix in them, you simply click on play, and you'll notice that 8 boxes have appeared down below and been populated with various verb forms. Now if you look up here in the info box at the top, you'll see that the verb that you're being asked to look at specifically is verb 509. So you can look that verb up in Book 5 and take a careful look at all the forms it has. You'll also see that there will be 3 to 5 seriative verb forms within the 8. So you need to identify those 3 to 5. In other words, you're going to have 3, 4, or 5 forms to pick out here. So let's look first at what we have here, like adahedla. That has a seriative H, so we're pretty good there. And then ayile, we can probably pick most of these out here. That gives us 3. If you want to remove a choice you've made, you just click on it again and it'll take it out from the top. So ayile, if we didn't want that. Okay, so to put those back, we just click again. And then adayole, that's not going to be seriative H. Ishle, so I think we have them right. So what we do, once we think we found the 3, 4, or 5 correct answers, is we click on Check Results. And if the box comes up green, it means you got it right. So green, 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 the 3 forms we needed to find are all there. The 2 blank boxes that are green mean that there was no answer to put in there. That box should have been left blank, and you did. Okay, now to play again, let's click on play. It'll give us a new verb. So we're looking for seriative H forms now. Let's see what we've got in here. That could be seriative H. And let's pick 4 forms. So the first 3 clearly have H's in them, so they're probably going to be correct. This last one does not, but I just want to show you what happens if you select a wrong answer. So here, when we click on Check Results, the first 3 clearly are seriative H forms. N'do cons. is not, but there was a box that we should have left blank, and we did leave blank, so that comes out green. So we get 4 green and 1 pink here. Now, if we want to try the same verb again, the game is going to shuffle the deck, so to speak. It's going to mix up the verb forms for us, but it will give us the same verb if we click on na. So na gives us same verb, but probably different forms. So nahakins, we'll get that one. Let's put these up here, the ones that we're pretty sure are right. And we could have more than 3 answers here. It looks like we only have 3. All right, let's do that. This time we got it. Okay, we got all the forms right. So you get 30 bonus points. If there were 3 answers and you got all 3 and just those 3, you didn't try and add anything, then you'll get all the bonus points as well. You'll get 10 per right answer plus 30 bonus points. All right, let's try another one here. Nahakad, that looks pretty straightforward. Nidahakad. All right, there's 3. Let's see what we get here. This time it looks like we might have 5 answers. We'll check our results. There we go. Okay, so there's no need to show the answers because we got them all right there. So we're going to get 50 points for the 10 points each for the 5 that we got right. And since we got everything right with no mistakes, we'll get 30 bonus points. As in the books for the other games, or a lot of them, maybe not every single one, there's a reset button. So if something happens and the game goes wonkers on you, then just click on reset and it'll set everything back up the way it was in the very beginning, and then you can just begin to play all over again. It should be okay after that. Let's look now at the second mode. So we're going to click on the mode button, and from identify seriative H, it's going to change to jump to verb number. So if there's a specific verb that we want to play, then we can use this mode to get there. So, okay, the reason we have verb 60 here, let me explain that at first here, is that all the verbs from the other books 1, 2, 3, and 4, have also been added to this game, to the database. So verb 60 is a verb from book 1 that has a seriative prefix in it. Okay, so let's say we wanted to go to verb 566, which is, by the way, a very interesting verb. We put that number in there and then we click play. And then look up here, 566, there we are. Now this verb is extremely interesting because it's one of the few verbs where you have all the conditions you need for the seriative forms to actually disappear while retaining the meaning of a seriative. Anyway, let's go through now and practice on this specific verb. So, nedahenelt ans, that looks like a seriative. Let's see if we have any other seriative in here. All right. So we're going to need something with an object. Now, if you want to understand what happens, why the seriative forms disappear, you can look it up in false, or you can also, there's a chapter in book 5 that explains this. So, even if you don't have the book, you might want to get it just to learn some of these unique traits here. All right, and let's see, we need at least 3 forms here for this to work right. So let's see if we've gotten this correct. I'm going to guess 5 here. Now, I don't claim that I know all of this perfectly, so there's going to be some wrong answers in here most likely. We'll check our results. There we go. Now, this is a good time to show you what happens if you didn't get everything right. So now when we click on show answers, down below you'll see that 2 of the boxes have been filled in blue. And if you want, you can also look to see, is there an exclamation mark there? So you have an exclamation mark on the end of the blue ones as well. You don't have to look at the color, you can look for the exclamation mark. All right, And then the two that we got right are here. So that tells us which ones we got right and which ones we did not. Now we can click, remember, we can click on na to get the same verb again, but in this particular case, since we're in mode 2 in the jump to verb number, that will not change unless you change it physically in the box. So we can also use play up here to do it again. It'll give us the same verb. Okay? So now let's take a look here and see how many of these we're going to get right. And there's 4. All right, so let's see what we did this time. Oops, there was a 5th one. Let's see which one it was. It's going to come up blue with an exclamation mark. There it is. Okay, so that way we can keep on playing this same verb again and again until we're able to pick out all the seriative forms in here. Now we get to what I think is the real fun part, mode 3. So I'm going to the mode button, I'm clicking on jump to verb number, and it changes to a button that reads harmonizing forms. So here what we're going to get are verb forms that can harmonize. Now to learn about harmonization, you're probably going to want to read either the chapter in the Navajo Verb by Leonard Faltz, or you can read the chapter in book 5 of Fun with Navajo Verbs, Ná'oodiłii, which describes exactly how these processes take place. Anyway, let's go ahead and play. So here we have 8 forms. There will be 3 to 5 forms that will not be harmonized, but could harmonize. So let's see what we've got here. Now remember, for something to harmonize, you have to have a seriative form that's in the pre-stem syllable position, and you need an outer prefix that causes it to harmonize. So for instance, Ná'oodiłii cannot harmonize because the seriative syllable is 2 syllables back. It needs to be in that pre-stem syllable, so it can't harmonize. But here, Ná'oodiłii, it can harmonize. Okay? So we've got the same thing here. That can harmonize. That can harmonize. Ná'oodiłii can harmonize. None of these others probably can't. So here we go. We've got 4 possible answers, which matches the possibility of from 3 to 5, right? We're between 3 and 5, so we're good. Let's check our results. Okay, there was one more that we didn't get. Let's see which one that one was. Oh, Ná'oodiłii. Ná'oodiłii. That could have harmonized. It's a long vowel. Now, short vowels tend to harmonize much more regularly than long vowels, but there are people who harmonize everything. So there we go. Now, you'll notice that, for instance, down below, Ná'oodiłii, this Ná'oodiłii is a non-harmonized form, but up above it has switched over. Once we check results, it's switched over to the harmonized form. So it's Ná'oodiłii. So that h changing to ha, that's harmonization. It picks up the vowel from the syllable to its left. Okay? So all of these forms have harmonized here. There we go. Let's try another one. Ná'oodiłii. Now remember, that can't harmonize because it's not in the pre-stem syllable. This one can. This one can. So this is a high vowel. Ná'oodiłii. Oh, Ná'oodiłii. And then Ná'oodiłii. This is a long vowel, pre-stem syllable with an outer something to the left of it that can cause it to harmonize, so that would work. And let's see what we've got here. Ná'oodiłii. That looks good too. All right, so let's double check. Ná'oodiłii. Ná'oodiłii. Ná'oodiłii is not going to harmonize. Ná'oodiłii is good. Ná'oodiłii is not going to harmonize. Ná'oodiłii is good. Ná'oodiłii is good. And then Ná'oodiłii, so it looks like we got all four. Let's see if we're right. Boom, there it is. Now notice again that the forms on the top, when we clicked on them down below and they were moved up top, were still unharmonized, but once we click on check results, the harmonized forms are shown to you. So there you have it. You can go through here and learn about which forms are likely to harmonize and which are not, and you can pick out from among a whole group of verbs that use seriative H prefix forms, those that are likely to harmonize. It's really good practice for that, and it also allows you to begin to understand which forms are likely harmonized. When you're listening to other people talk, you're very likely to see these top forms. Now, remember that a certain number of verbs, the harmonization is optional. People don't have to harmonize, but I think people who do really speak a beautiful Navajo, and it's one of those incredibly interesting details in the language that never cease to fascinate me. So I think congratulations are in order. If you've been able to download this game, to play it, and to understand what you're doing and master all these concepts, then your language level has risen substantially in Navajo. So please feel free to pass on any comments you might have, any constructive criticism. We welcome that. And just get in touch with us. Let us know how you think we can do a better job and how you would like to see the language develop. We're very, very interested in what you think and where you would like to go. Ahehe, guane.